This is To Wit, a podcast for women in tech doing life. I'm Kristi Guzman.
And I'm Melinda Smith. Hello, my partner in crime.
We always seem so surprised. Hello. Fancy seeing you here in this prearranged meeting that we coordinated to record together.
Totally like hanging out with you. This is a good idea.
Episode 11. It's happening. I feel like there's some big things happening so far this year.
It's already February. Look at that.
What? February is such an underrated month because it's short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no feelings either way. I just know, as you know, moving back to Colorado, February, you just got to get through like February and March, and then it's back to nicer weather.
Okay, good. So you're moving back at a time when you're not going to totally hate yourself for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I will miss the warmth and wearing flip-flops, but in all fairness, by California standards, it's been abnormal weather here for like 3 months. I haven't worn flip-flops, or we've had the heater on since November, which is, again, not cold compared to other areas. I get it, but cold for here. I know. People are like, it was 27. I'm like, it's not a contest. I'm just telling you I am currently cold. But I'm excited. It's gonna be good. We got this little house in the area we want to be in, so we'll rent there before, we'll look and take a while to buy. And I found a new preschool for the little girl. I think I'll like it.
Yeah.
And be switching some new positions here as far as jobs are concerned. I'll keep you updated on that. No news yet.
I'm almost done with Whole30. By the time this airs, I'll be reintroducing some things.
How does that work?
I think
so you take it all out and then bring back in.
Yep, you take out a lot of fun things.
All the things that make you happy.
Well, no, I mean, it is interesting, actually, the things that are more delicious. I think you do appreciate other things that you might not as much usually. So it is not like, oh my God, I've been in this diet, I haven't eaten anything. Like, you can use plenty of seasonings. It's just a lot more cooking than I'm used to, but I need to cook. It's a good thing. But so then after 30 days, hypothetically, you're at like blank slate, and then you start reintroducing things one at a time. So I think we're going to start with dairy. So you add in like a cup of milk with breakfast, and then cheese on your hamburger, and then dinner, like a little thing of cheese for like 2 days.
What's the logic in that?
So then you kind of see how your body reacts to it. Like if you start feeling real crappy, then you cut it back out, you wait a few days, and then you start the next thing. So, and it's not as much, it's called an elimination diet. So it's more about figuring out if there are sensitivities. The idea is that when you're having so much sugar and crap all the time, that your body is kind of overcompensating and masks some of the reactions you might have to things. So you just always feel kind of mildly bleh, and so you don't notice that cheese.
You could have more mental clarity.
Whatever makes you feel that way. So, I think it'll be good to start adding some stuff back in. There's certainly craving things, but I think it's interesting because it's more habits than anything, in terms of, I wish I could just stop and pick up something, or, oh, it's Friday night. Usually we go out to dinner. Or haven't had Asian food really. We've made some things, but not like true like chow mein-y things, which is one of Gil's favorite foods. So just a lot of that mental piece going on. So
I did something similar back in the day, but it was to find out your allergies. We took everything out, and you were supposed to bring in like bread and little things here and again, just to, like you said, to figure out the sensitivities. So that's interesting.
And some of it too, in reading the book, some of it's about maybe you can have one piece of bread and that's fine. But if you eat 4 pieces of bread, then you notice that you get bloated, or you notice, whatever. So the goal is not to dive 100% back in, like have ice cream and wine and everything all at the same time once you have the opportunity. So really it's like Whole45, but they don't tell you that because then you'd never start ever really. So They kind of sneak in that 30 thing, and then it's like, well, maintain.
By the way.
And add in a little bit of cheese. So it was a tough debate if I did wine or cheese first, but I think I'll do cheese. So, yeah.
Well, I feel like for me, that would be no question. I literally Googled today, buy case of Rumbauer. Is it cheaper? Because my mom's going to come help me unpack in the end of February. And I told her, literally, I said this, and I will stick to it. Holding true. This is a bold statement. Are you prepared?
I mean, we're being recorded, so you better be ready to commit.
If I never drank another alcohol, but Rumbauer, again, I would. If I had Rumbauer on tap at my home, I would contently drink that for the rest of my life. Only.
Interesting.
And this spot is not brought to you by Rumbauer or Rumbauer
I mean, it could
Estates.
be. Let's find out.
But if you are listening,
right?
I'm moving to Denver, Colorado.
Wine on tap.
212. Oh
That's
my
God.
Thing. Ugh.
Interesting.
So
it's
you save $44 if you buy a case. But I'm going to go in and haggle with them because apparently that's what you do at liquor stores. I want 50 off.
Please let me save more. By the way, I don't know why there's apparently 1,500 planes flying over my house right now, but if you can hear it, sorry, I live near an airport. It's a lovely airport. Come visit it. So let's get to know each other, Melinda.
Yes, let's.
Ooh, decisions. Let's see. In times of hardship, who do you rely on or call most?
I think it matters on the level of hardship. If it's like I had just kind of a crappy day, or maybe now there's a helicopter above my house. Did they just come from your house? Is it like a super plane?
This episode is called Rumbauer Flight Plan.
I love you. I think if it's maybe current, maybe not too, I might rely on a certain girlfriend. Like there's girlfriends that make me laugh, or there's girlfriends that will call me out on my shit of being like, you're being stupid. So I think it depends on the girlfriend and the level of hardship. If I'm really, really hurting and I'm really down, I 100% rely on my husband and my mom. And probably my mom first, not because he isn't amazing and my best friend, but she's my mommy. And when I feel like I'm falling apart at the seams, like you want your mommy. I want to lay on her lap. I want her to stroke my face and tell me everything's okay. And then she tells me things like, be gentle with yourself and just breathe. And I'm like, oh, I can do life again.
I can do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on the particular kind of hardship,
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I don't know if I think of my husband as my best friend. And I don't know that I want to.
That's not a bad thing.
I feel like there's, now, in a whole separate conversation, I don't know if I feel like I have a super best friend right now. That's like my daily check-in friend that I know everything about their whole stinking life. Part of which is because I've moved a lot. But
sure.
I think what's funny, my mom is the first thing that came to my mind too. But I think more about if I'm stressed out, and I call my mom, it's more the feeling of when she starts talking about things I don't really care about, but just listening to her. It's not even talking about my problem. It's her talking about her friends going to birthday dinner, and then this lady at Bunko that plays differently than other people.
That bitch.
This, right? And then this, they had the gift exchange, and the gift is supposed to only be $15, but these ladies are going other places, just that kind of like nonsensical stuff that you can listen to and kind of yourself, and it just like calms me down.
Yeah. You're like, it's not that big of a deal.
Right? And then like in the scheme of things, none of it is like, nothing is really that important. I mean, things are important, but you know what I mean? Like it's just a good, relaxing, I sort of hope she doesn't listen to this because it's not like I'm not listening to her, but it's almost kind of that like,
the prattle is easing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I was listening to a podcast today, Women of the Hour, Lena Dunham's one, and she was interviewing, it's like some 100-year-old lady that said something along the lines of, like, age doesn't matter and finances and money, specifically money doesn't matter, health does. And of course we know that if you don't have anything, you don't have your health. But it really just kind of, takes you for a second and you're like, okay, like when you're having a stressed out moment, like I'm healthy,
Mm.
primarily. Everyone has little things here and there, but really it is matter. Because, I mean, if you have ever had your world rocked by cancer or losing somebody, it really brings you to a place where truly nothing matters if you're not healthy. So I think the nice little prattle is one way to be like, oh, yeah, okay, nothing is really that big of a deal. It's cool.
It's all good.
It's all like Pete the cat. It's all good for any of you mommy listeners. Everyone else will be like, what?
I don't know who Pete the cat is.
It's a kid's story and it's awesome.
Okay.
I'll remind you.
Okay.
Can I come back to husbands not being your best friend?
Sure.
Because I feel like that's a valid statement. And here, I'm going to tell you why he is mine. And because we were friends for nearly 10 years prior.
Mm.
And when it's someone I want to go drinking with, or someone that I want to laugh with, or someone that I want to tell my favorite joke to, he's my first choice. So he's my first choice in all of those things, and he knows my everything. And I get to be every facet of myself, every maddening moment of me, and he loves it. But not everyone has it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that you could have a separate, like, romantic relationship, but you have a best friend in your girlfriends. And what you said, too, we use that so loosely. Like, I have probably 4 close girlfriends that I would call best friends, or I just say besties. It seems to be easier. I mean, we're not in 11th grade or 3rd grade.
I do enjoy being with him. I don't want anyone to think like, oh no, Kristi doesn't love her husband. I do a whole lot, and I love being around him. One of the things I really like about him, though, is he doesn't need me at things.
For sure.
Like, he's very, like, I don't worry about him at parties to go find where he is and make sure he's having a good time. That kind of thing but he wants to come home to me, even though I fail in all kinds of ways, so it's just a good, partnership. But
I think that could still be categorized as a best friend or a close friend or one and the same.
Okay. I guess I see the sappy like, I'm not calling you sappy, but like,
no, I totally get it.
I love him so much. He's my best friend.
He's my everything.
I didn't even know who I was until I met him.
That's what it is right there. That's what it is. Let me back you up. It's the people that lose their identity.
Right.
Or say they don't know who they were before them. I think that that's where it causes an issue or causes a heavy eye roll from other people that were like, but you were a whole person before your spouse.
Or I'm just heartless, and those kind of syrupy things, I just don't, it's just not my jam, but
I will be syrupy for the best of us, for the most of us.
All right. Somebody needs to be. But he's a great sounding board. He's a great partner. Just maybe not my best friend. But that's okay.
It's 100% okay. You can have many best friends or many other good friends. It doesn't need to be the everything in your house. He's my everything.
Right?
So I say that.
Again, not judging. But what you said is dumb. No, I'm just kidding.
I joke all the time, and I probably said it on the podcast before, that we will literally one day blob into human. We're just like so same. We are not opposites attract, or the yin and the yang. We're a person half the time. We try to beat each other to the punchlines of jokes that we just made up. Like it's kind of a little insane sometimes.
It's funny because for a second I thought you meant you and me, and I'm like, we're literally in the middle of a conversation where we're talking about how we're different. So, I mean, I know a lot of the times we are half of the same person, but,
We must grow together. Let's grow together, not apart. I'm moving closer to you. I mean, technically.
One whole time zone.
Right?
Baby steps.
900 miles, I believe. Like my husband said.
You're moving 900 miles, or you'll be 900 miles away from me?
I'm moving 900 miles.
Oh, okay. And I would walk 900. Sorry, we won't make people listen to me sing. But, one thing that brings us together, even though we live apart, Salesforce community events. Segway master. So we talked a little bit after Tahoe, but I, of course, am in planning for Southeast Dreamin decently heavily. You're working on planning Witness Success. And it may be that all the people that listen to us already get why community events are great, but they're my friggin' favorite. So I feel like we should talk about why. And even in relationship to other kinds of events. What do you think?
Two things, and I apologize to everyone who's heard me say this before, this particular word, but I think they're more digestible. It's easier to sit into one day of classes. It's easier to pick your sessions when there's only one day to pick from. It is easier to go to the sponsorship tables because it's less accosting. Someone's not jumping into the aisle trying to scan my badge. They actually want to have quality conversations. So I feel like I've learned more about products at the community events because I want to chit chat, or I'm standing out there chatting with someone else and I'm an eyeball in their table. I was like, oh, let's go learn about that. It doesn't feel so much pressured. And it's just literally one big group hug. It's like a community love that you get to see people. And again, it's a smaller bunch and you can actually see them all and you don't feel so stressed. And I have to walk 15 blocks to my hotel, but then I got to make sure that I go to these 7 parties that I said I would go to. It's just, you're just together. It's just a couple days and everything's mapped out so that there's really not a need to split up. So that's why I like them the most.
It's funny because I feel like you're making the connection specifically to Dreamforce with some of that walking far FOMO kind of feeling. But I think even World Tour events and other Salesforce events, of course, like they certainly have their place. I do not mean to say that I don't want to, continue going to those things, but it's just, like you said, it's an interestingly isolating in a good way kind of idea. And that's, to me, always been for one whole year. This is our second year, but has been a priority in terms of trying to keep the expo and the sessions and the lunch, like really keep it all integrated so that, people who don't know anyone can easily find someone, and there is value to the sponsors. And it's a little bit different, right? Because Salesforce events can happen with just Salesforce, but they obviously want to partner with their partners in the ecosystem. But these Dreamin events really wouldn't happen without sponsors. So, I mean, the ticket charge is more just so we make sure you actually come if we're going to pay for food for you versus like being the actual investment in what happens and the results. So, I think it's interesting that I think it's catching on more and more, and that people want to start planning new ones, which is so awesome. But it's a lot, So I guess So I'm kind of interested in you're in year one, and like, is it already more than you expected, and it's months away?
Well, how many people do you have helping you?
I would say we have probably a good 10 core people on the team. To be fair, some are, more involved than others, but
sure,
as it happens.
We have 5 core, just brought on another. So so having 6 people matters. It's been a lot at times, and at other times not. Like with me moving and switching jobs and everything, I have just said, like, I've jumped in the Slack channel and been like, look, I'm going to be absent a little bit. But we've all done that. I think there's been moments where all of us have been unable to be a top contributor at the moment. I still feel like it's going well. I guess there's the part of me that I'm having anxiety about is the content. So how does the WIT group differentiate themselves from different community events? How women focused are we? Do we do, is it, what's the word I'm looking for? Am I pacifying you or, belittling the subject if I'm like, let's do a session about asking for a raise and how to do that? Because predominantly women are very bad at negotiating or asking for money. So is that a great content, or is that eye roll? We get it. Another women talk about women not doing this. So that's the thing. And we're all having good conversations. I have amazing people that are on the committee. So I think that everyone has really good ideas, but that's the thing that kind of stresses me out is obviously getting together and seeing your friends is amazing, and food and this place is a resort. It's going to be awesome. But I guess the part of me that wants to do a good job is afraid that the content will be like, meh, oh yeah, that was just, because it's right after Midwest Dreamin', that they'd be like, well, I just saw that, or meh, it was all right. I can read a blog about that.
Yeah, I think there's an important consideration that you're not going to please everyone, right? So
sure.
But I also think if you think about it, how many times can I think in one sentence? Some of the best conversations and times that I had at Tahoe were outside of the sessions. So I'm not trying to say that the sessions aren't important, because I definitely took notes with some awesome tips. I got a cool laminated printout of tricks for visual flows, which I need to start working on more of for my org. So cool takeaways like that. But I also think that there is a advantage to the conversation I had on the bus ride down to Reno that resulted in a sponsorship and a demo, and, building and talking about what kind of talk I could give at events like this. And I was sitting next to a CEO on a bus, nice. So there's those kinds of, I try to sit and eat lunch with people I don't know. And it's tough because on one hand, people think I'm extroverted. I don't know how much I probably lean that way, but not entirely. I know it's hard for some people to go and just sit with people, right? So I guess I would encourage people to, the same thing kind of goes for user groups, but to me specifically for the Dreamin' events, just from a larger scale perspective, really try and see if there's one near you, see what they're about, and try to make it a priority to attend one as a contrast to a world tour, Destination Success, Trailhead X. Those kinds of things are wonderful, but it really is a different experience. So
community driven. And you mentioned demos. I maybe still new in the ecosystem, only 4 years, but I seriously never tire of demo jams. Like even the one where we were at Dreamforce, where we came to was it Awesome People Party or whatever, and we were all ready to like have drinks and there's chairs, and we were like, oh come on, not a session. And then we sat down, they said it was a demo jam. We were all like, yeah, it was awesome. I never tire of it because I'm not going to hang out in the app exchange. I'm too busy to be like, what's new today?
Right.
And you don't always work for a company that has a bandwidth where they're like, we're going to buy something new. So I don't know. I love demo jams. How do you feel about demo jams?
I am somewhat biased because I work for a partner. My challenge with some demo jams, which I don't think happens during Dreamin' events, is I think some partners do not follow the rules and vote for themselves. So I'm a little jaded, but again, I think the webinars are good for this, I think, and the Dreamin's more, that non-official events. And it's tough because from a planning perspective, I think it's important to think about, you don't want the demo jam to go up against maybe something else that is community led, right? Because I mean, it's not sales pitchy, but it is, right? It's partners. And I think you're right that there's value in learning new things, learning what options you have. If someone comes to you with a requirement that you're like, there's an app that does that and it's called blah, blah, or let me go find my notes about it. But I don't know that I would choose to do that over someone speaking about something I'm interested in, which is what happens at things like Dreamforce. So anyway, so I think that the Dreamin' ones are a little bit better because I guess it's less pressure maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that people still, or maybe they just all have less employees there so they can't cheat. I don't know. But I do think it goes back to what I've talked about in previous episodes of taking the time to learn something, even if it's not the thing that you need to know for right now, which can be
The
hard.
webinars, that other people have taken that away as well. I get to learn, speaking of learning. I'm so excited. Got an email last night that I am part of this RAD class.
Yeah, you got accepted?
I did. So I saw a Facebook from Angela that she had already introduced the class, and then I got my email last night. So I'm guessing someone may have bagged out, which I don't even care. Like, whatever.
That's how I got in.
I'm so excited, and I was a little bummed that then I did the whole, well, I have a lot going on right now. It's probably for the best. And so as soon as I got it, I'm like, yes. And it's going to be a total pain in the ass because I had to choose a class that makes sense for a new role. I don't know if this new role is going to be at home or in an office or a combo of both, but I can't commit 4 p.m. So I chose the one that is 8 Pacific. So it'll be like 9 to 10:30 Denver time. But F it, who cares? It's only once a week. I'm super excited. I've always wanted to learn a little bit more. I'm always trying to dip my toe in the Apex world or Trigger, and really the syntax is kind of a hang up. And I feel like I have just enough passion for it to enjoy the learning. Because I've heard people say time and time again, you're either coder or you're not. You either like it or you don't. And I don't feel like I know either way. I feel like I could be good at it. The question is if I really, really like it. But it's kind of mathy, and I've always liked math. So it's what always frustrated me is the friggin' commas and parentheses. The syntax hangs me up. And I don't remember who I was talking to one day, but I said something like, I've got it. It's the syntax that gets me. And they were like, yeah, that's the whole point of the formula is the syntax. I was like, oh, well, that is the part of it.
Boo on you.
Sir. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I had
I'm
a really
excited.
great time doing it. It was the first round for me, so it'll be interesting to see how it's evolved in terms of how they structure the content. And I mean, it's such a great resource. And I think it's interesting that, one of the next things we were going to talk about of, seeing something become a thing. I feel like, to me, the Rad Women program is that Kieran just was, saw a need, started writing some blogs. This is how I learned, and this is what I know. I know some other awesome women. Let's see if they want to teach other people things. And then they put the interest out there, and it was clearly, yes, there are people who want to learn this, right? And so now it's become more of a structured thing that it sounds like you maybe had applied before and still, weren't able to do. So
when it's 10 weeks, which is, it makes more sense, at least from most people's learning perspective, than the one time. I did the Apex for admins at Dreamforce, and I had bookmarked it and didn't go for 2 or 3 years in a row. And this year I went, and I was good for like 5 minutes. And like he jumped right into classes, like the third slide. And I was like, I think it was Mike Martin. I was like, wait, back up. I need to wait. And then I waved the white flag at like 30 minutes and went and took a nap. Like my brain was so,
isn't that funny?
So overloaded.
Your brain gets just like, nope.
Yeah. It's like,
not doing it.
So I'm excited that it's broken out like that because I need to be able to ask questions or digest and then come back to it. So I was just telling someone the other day in one of my 1,000 phone interviews, which, side note, since we're talking about things.
Sure. We're talking about whatever you want.
Things that were first. Like, do you remember a time where it was like a new fandangled thing that they would do a phone interview? Like,
yeah.
Ooh.
And I remember I printed out my resume, and it was important. I still got dressed so that I felt professional, and I made notes about all my different job. Most of this was college, but it wasn't like my first job, but I made notes in little sections of like an example of leadership, right? And linked them all together. And I sat at the table with my 5 cheat sheets of notes about myself.
It's true. Like it was not a thing back in the day, but God, now I lost my train of thought. I was telling someone, nope, I'm just not going to come back to it.
Sorry, I ruined your mojo.
No.
First time things. Phone
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
interviews.
I was like something about learning and telling a phone interview about something I've done or didn't do. Either way, the
Your
point
brain
of
got full
yeah, the
with
brain got full.
Apex. You took a nap. Have you ever done a Skype interview?
Yes, recently. Uh, it was something like I told a story to an interviewer that related to something we were talking about. If I was smart enough, I would pause us, replay, and then make sure the listeners weren't leaving hanging. But hey, that's not who we are. So moving
What's
on.
going to happen in like 2 hours? You're going to be like, oh, blah. And your husband's going to be like, yeah, too late.
um, I think I can't remember what job it was, but the first time I had a phone interview was like, oh wow, they're so busy or they're so cool. They're going to do a phone interview. And now, like, gosh, how many times do you have an interview with a place before you actually meet them? But I had all of my interviews recently have all been phone interviews, and I had a Skype one on Monday, so I could see the person that's running this office, and then I actually will go meet them in person on Tuesday. But being able to do that is, God, I couldn't even imagine now. Like, there's clearly we work on the cloud, so that has changed everything. But could you imagine of all the places you've interviewed, let's just say in the last 5 to 6 years, if you actually had to go there? There's no way.
Right. Well,
there's no way you would make the travel.
And it's interesting too. I remember my first Skype interview. I wanted to be hands free, right? I didn't want to be like jiggly, and so I was. It didn't occur to me until like soon, right? So I mean, I was dressed from like the waist up to do it, but I had like this candle holder thing, and I used a rubber band to hold my phone. And, like, I, like, MacGyvered this whole thing together. And I had to sit kind of sideways in the chair. But, like, I mean, I got the job. So I guess I did all right. But
I had an accidental Skype interview. So we had all that flooding out here. So I was out cleaning the yard and I lost track of time. So, like, running in, I'm 20 minutes late probably for an interview. Definitely not the way to show up for it. And I am still in, like, jammies. Hair a mess, no bra, like just because I'm like, oh my God, I'm late. I have my trailhead shirt that I slept in.
yeah.
And it was, I don't even remember the platform, but the cam was on and I was like, oh, so I left my little webcam slider shut.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, I think I'm looking at a wall. And I was like, ah, shoot. So I turned it up, like I tried to put my hair up as best as possible and was like, well, made sure that the camera was only like mid boob up, so it wasn't like I was like I definitely did not nail it. I have not heard back. But I feel like if you are going to request to see my face, I really should be given a heads up. I feel like anybody should. So yeah, note to all people interviewing out there, just make sure you know the forum of which.
If there's a web meeting and not just a phone number, I feel like it's a good assumption.
Yeah, I don't even remember because I typically would know if it was like a Zoom or a Google Hangout, but it was some random one. I don't know. I can't say that I even know what I'm talking about.
The Zoom gallery view made our Southeast Dreamin planning meeting feel like the Brady Bunch. But what we learned was that it's not consistent where people's blocks are. So we were playing around and like looking up, right? And looking sideways. But then people, like I was in the middle for someone, but then he wasn't in the middle for me. It was interesting. It was fun. Good team.
Speaking of random firsts, this came up the other day, and I don't know why stuff like this always sticks in my brain, but
okay.
I remember the very, very first time I saw a web address in a commercial. I remember where I was, what apartment I was living in, because I remember thinking, that's weird. That's going to change things.
The internet.
Yeah, I had web TV. Do you remember that?
No.
So it was, I mean, just as it sounds, you got the internet kind of through the TV, but this is before like Ethernets and all that shenanigans. You had a wireless keyboard. And I remember the only thing I could really do was order CDs from Columbia House, which I, of course, did because it was 98 and that's what you do. Or 99.
And it was hopefully 98 cents.
Yes.
Or
it was a penny.
Or something.
A penny. Just got to tape it to it. Yeah. So I remember that weirdness. I don't know why those little things stick out in my brain and what useful knowledge it is. None. I don't know what to do with that knowledge. No one's going to give me $1 million if I can recall where I was the first time I saw a weather dress.
I remember something of my sister telling me that she remembered something, but now she doesn't remember the thing.
This episode is all about us not remembering the right stuff. I can't remember. Hashtag I can't remember. Speaking of memories. So
go do it.
I have a hope chest, a trunk, like one of those old Titanic that I have all my keepsakes in. And I've been lugging around for, let's see, I've been on my own since I was 18, so, 20 years, 21 years. And the buckles are broken and the handles are broken from people not handling it correctly and talking to my mom. She's like, well, don't move it again. I was like, no, it's been in our family. It's a keepsake. She's like, no, it hasn't. No one had it before me. I was like, wait, what? She's like, no, it's not like it's been in our family since the 20s. I was like, oh, all right. So I decided to get rid of it because it's heavy and it's big and it doesn't really go. But I was going through all the keepsakes.
Aww.
And part of it was a lot of fun.
That's the hardest part of moving.
Yeah. Not getting stuck down memory lane and spending 2 hours looking at photos when you should be packing.
Never happened to me.
My mom kept every piece of art. My Danilian handwriting book, and I got rid of it all, actually.
Yeah?
Well, why? I've carried it around for 21 years. For what?
To show your daughter things you did when you were her age?
I just purged. I mean, this house has been like the purge. I got rid of it all. I got rid of duplicate photos of myself. I apparently am the keeper of all of my school photos. I'm not sure. I feel like someone else should have them besides me. But
that's what the duplicates are for.
I got rid of everything. So people go through our trash all the time in the alley because that's what Long Beach is all about. So I can just imagine some person being like, what is this crap? Where is the good stuff? I need something I can recycle, not her story about explorers.
But you read it.
I did. Now, the Explorer one I kept, it was 4 or 5 explorers. I did a little one-pager, and I drew their photo.
Okay.
And for one of them, I swear to God, this is 89, I wrote, no photo available, yet I drew them all, so I'm not really sure.
Stop it. Maybe you didn't have an encyclopedia to draw a picture from.
But I kept that because I did a small report on Yuri Gagarin, one of the first men in space, because one of my close girlfriends, her husband, is Daniel Gagarin, which is the descendant of the Russian royals Gagarin.
What are you poking? You're so emphatic.
I just
know Gagarins.
It was a family tree. So I kept it because then I sent a picture to him. I was like, look, it was like kismet that we were all supposed to be friends. So I did a report on your family member, sir.
So I'm really curious now about your moving personality because mine and my husband's are quite different. He would like to get to the place, unpack all the things, put all the boxes away, get done. Not necessarily want to help with that process, but let's get stuff on the walls. Let's do it to it because otherwise you never will. I think I'm more in the I never will camp-ish, but it's like I feel like putting that first thing in a drawer in your kitchen or like whatever it is, even if it ends up not being the right place because you put it there, it kind of stays there. So do you want to think about it? But then, and then it's like, oh, I'm tired. I'll do one box today. But then like, so.
Life. You got to go to work. You got to do things.
What's your moving style? I heard some procrastination stories, which I can identify with.
Yes. When I was in my 20s and I, moved apartments a lot, I was definitely the get it all done. I want one weekend. I want everything unpacked, everything hung up. I want it to feel like a home. Now, really, I used to be a lot more stringent and, borderline OCD about things, everything having their place. And friends used to make jokes and move pictures in my house because I knew it would freak me out. And then somewhere along the line, I don't know if it's when I got married, but I just stopped giving a shit about that. And I just don't care. I want it put together nice, but typically this is a mom thing. She's an interior designer. So anytime we move, she comes out and helps me, figure out where we want stuff. But it will not cause me any stress at all to walk around boxes for a couple weeks. Like at all.
And your husband?
Josh is like your husband.
Yeah.
He definitely was like, let's get it undone. Let's get it all done now. Like, forego an hour of sleep just to get it all done. And I'm like, I would never forego sleep for stuff, for things, for activities, for chores. No, never. Mm-mm.
So two moves ago, we moved right before my husband was going on his bachelor party trip, and my brother came to visit so he could go, and they're packing like the night before they're going to leave, and he's like, I don't have any shoes. Like, I can't find my nice shoes. I'm pretty sure I brought them. So we like go through all the stuff, whatever. So then he borrows a pair of shoes, like it works out. So then while they're gone, I make progress unpacking, and I had this whole stack of boxes and I was putting them all in the same place, and I go and take them all out into the garage, and his shoes are underneath my pile. I was like, you thought you were crazy, but nope.
That would be my fault.
I do feel like my ninja moving secret.
Ooh.
Wardrobe fucking boxes.
Yeah,
you already cussed, so I'm doing it now.
I cussed like twice, so you're good.
They're a game changer. We found a moving... this is another thing that was really helpful. We found a moving company that gives you used boxes. So
nice.
We just went up and got like 6-8 wardrobe boxes. And then, again, procrastination. So the day they came to move and there was stuff that wasn't done, the guy just taped up the top, started flipping my couch pillows in there, started just like soft goods, big box, do it to it. So they're my super fave.
They are.
No, I don't want to waste a super fave on that, but
they're once great. When I was younger, I filled a wardrobe box full of books, not thinking, because that was the over organized head. So I want everything in the same box. And I had 2 male friends move it, and they cussed me the whole way down like the 3 flights. I was like, I didn't know.
Stairs.
Yeah. So we have movers for the very first time. They didn't pack.
Yeah.
But we did the price difference between him packing up the van and towing my car and them doing it. And it wasn't enough of a price difference to matter. We actually have nice furniture in the last 3 years we've been here. We've actually, and my mom has bought some for us too.
Adulting.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want it moved correctly. If you leave it to us, it's not gonna.
Yep.
So when we finally decided, screw it, we're going to have a moving company, it's been so nice because like you don't have to take stuff out of the drawers, like in your nightstands or whatever the things are called in your room that hold your clothes that I can't think of right now because I can't remember anything this episode.
Dresser.
Thank you. Yes. I love that.
I almost didn't have it. I was like, I'm under pressure.
This is literally an entire episode of
Bureau. You could use bureau.
Uh-huh. Yep. We're just going to move on to super faves because I'm blowing it.
Why? People apparently listen to us talking to each other, and that's what we're doing. So having movers is great. There's a certain point in life that it's expected, and I think that point in life is once you buy furniture on credit.
Yeah.
Like once it's not you're assembling it junk, it's like delivered, that to me is
totally.
Like, yep, because don't drop my...
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to drop stuff.
Or it's the corners. And people get frustrated on moving day, and I don't want you to Tetris the shit out of that truck and ruin the corners of all my bureaus.
Right? They're important. And then you've got that nick in the very top center of my entertainment center, and I sit and watch TV, and I'm like, oh.
And the nick is because he was frustrated. He tried to shove it in.
Moving blankets are a good trick, but you're not going to invest in a bunch of moving blankets. But man, and it's so much faster. We get 3 guys. They got a guy who stays in the truck to do the Tetris. They have a cycle of guys giving them stuff. They got it down, man.
No, it's their job.
It almost makes me want to move. Nope.
No. I already stressed about a move in a year that hasn't happened yet. We will probably rent for a year and then actually purchase.
Yeah.
But it's this particular renting company or management company was like, I said, if we break our lease early, what does that mean? You have to pay 3 times month's rent. And I was like, okay, we won't be doing that. But I'm like, oh my God, we have to do this in a year. We have to do this in a year. And I'm like, what is your deal? Like, I don't have enough to stress about right now. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and think about something that is a year out because, well, shoot, who needs to
What
sleep?
else do you have to do?
Anxiety is amazing.
And if you're not going to sleep, if you could unpack stuff, that'd be
No, I'm going to lay here and stress out.
Bring it all back. All right, so we've rambled enough, perhaps.
Yeah.
One consistent thing that we do at
Drink
the
wine?
end.
Oh,
What did you think it was?
I thought you meant like consistently we drink wine. Like,
Oh, not today,
Whole 30
though, man.
aside. Well,
I
Whole
know.
30 aside. We
Today
typically
it's cucumber water.
Oh, yeah. Nope, I have water and it looks like coffee, but it's not.
I mean, it's a unicorn cup that says fierce on it, so I feel like
I got it from Salesforce, Amy.
that's an appropriate not coffee cup.
Yeah, I think she would approve.
So, super fave. What do you got?
All right, so in the moving shenanigans, I am trying to interview, move, and build out the .org for my nonprofit. So being able to do all of that crap online has been helpful, like getting new cable and internet and setting up water and power and all that stuff that I can just do online. And I'm sure it's been there forever, but I remember distinctly many years that you had to call and wait on hold and you could only set up certain times. So it's been really, really nice. And only one place I've actually had to call. So I'm super, super grateful for all of the online.
Technology for the win.
Yes.
I totally thought you said in the movie shenanigans. And I was like, I don't know if I've seen that movie.
I like that word today. I was chatting with Comcast and they have this like blast exclamation point internet. And I was like, what is this blast shenanigans that you want to charge me more for? Can I just have regular fast internet all the time?
Blasty.
Anyways, and then the side note or the second super fave is with
Sure, go
moving,
ahead. It's all you.
finding a new job. Don't we both go at once? I don't
Sure.
remember now.
Do it. I'm just giving you crap because I can.
It's the Melinda Show.
Mhm.
It's one wit, one wit. Hot freaking yoga. It's hot and it's uncomfortable, but there's so much
Sounds
going on right
fun.
now
Yeah.
that you can't help but be present. And I just did a class with this new guy that I've never been to before, and he plays like the louder music that's a little more like loud, loungy. I don't know. I like when the music's a little loud. Clearly, it's hot as hell, and it was good. It's good because you spend like 90 minutes of not. I couldn't think about other things because I'm almost dying or passing out, so I'm very present.
Okay. Good to know. That's the key for you. Just turn the heat on,
Close to dying, please.
and then you'll stop stressing out. Now you know.
So we're done, right? Nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye
nothing
bye.
else.
Stay witty,
Bye,
everybody.
I just thought we both had two, a little back and forth.
No, it's all about me. Blah.
So I want it on record that my husband admitted that he likes zoodles. Therefore,
Is
I
that
like
the
zoodles.
zucchini noodles?
Zucchini noodles. Now, to be fair, I have like the Gateway Zoodler, so it looks like I don't know if I'm gesturing, like anyone can see me. It looks like an hourglass, and you twist into it, so it's a little involved. Apparently, I need to get one that like my sister-in-law has that's easier, that you like stab the end of it and then twist it through. Anyway, zoodles. They've been a good win. That and cauliflower rice have been very important
Yes.
on the Whole30 adventure.
How do you cook the zucchini or is it raw?
You can do either. I kind of blanch it, so it only cooks for like a minute in the boiling water. I mean, it's not like what? Isn't that blanching? Isn't that a thing?
It is, but if my head goes to either the
Golden
Snapchat
Girls?
filters blanch or Golden Girls.
I make the zoodles.
For the record, I held back that laugh like 20 seconds.
Why?
Longer than
Get it all
I
out.
don't know.
The laughter. I don't really think that we have named the Snapchat filter Blanche, right? It's not like that's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do I like? You know what I like? Yesterday, I got a deployment fish when I did a change set. And it made me very happy because I was able to get a screenshot of it as it was happening. And Gil did not understand what I was talking about. And from the look on your face, you do not understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to not explain this well, and I would really love for someone to correct me. My understanding, okay, so change set. I'm taking a set of fields. I built page layouts, validation rules, etc. And profiles so that the field level security doesn't make me want to stab myself in the eye. So I push that up to production. When I validate, it has a circle and it starts to go around the circle as it validates. What I think happens is that there's dependencies to other things that have to run that aren't a part of your change set. So it becomes an improper fraction, bigger on the top than the bottom, greater than 1. Anyway, so like let's say I had 10 things. It gets to 10 and then it needs to go to 15. And the circle like doesn't know what to do with itself. So as the first number gets bigger, it turns back on itself and it makes a fish shape, like the Jesus fish.
Oh.
Boop, boop, boop. And so, but last time it happened to me, it went away too quick. Because then when it finishes and it does like 15 and 15, it goes back to a circle. So you got to be speedy. So,
speedy?
Yeah.
I also want to do a change set or work or do anything.
Well, there is that. I mean, to be fair,
Mama
I was doing this
job.
at 11 o'clock at night so that I didn't disrupt all of my salespeople. Well, so not
because you're a good person
and without wine. Let's just be clear. But yeah, it was fun. Philip Southern is the one who taught me about the deployment fish. I have a Dreamforce button about it. Somebody actually 3D printed deployment fish as their like business card.
Wait, is that a good or a bad thing? It sounds
I don't
from your description like it's.
I don't think it's as much a bad thing as it is like an unexpected consequence of a thing that is okay that happens. Like the concept of
like an Easter egg?
Yeah, kind of. I think. I could be completely wrong, and I'm going to have to ask someone now because it's going to bother me. I tried to Google it to see if there was like somebody wrote a blog about it, but they didn't. But maybe developers experience it more, so that's why. I have no idea. But it's a phenomenon. And it happens sometimes, and it happened to me. So that means the Lord of Salesforce is shining his light down upon me this week. That's what it means. So I am #blessed. The end.
The next time we talk, I will be in the Rocky Mountain time zone.
Okay.
I will be a mile high. Well, I mean, in the air. I mean, not in the air. I won't be a mile high. You know what I mean. I don't partake in the cannabis because it makes me crazy.
Oh, I forgot about that. In Colorado.
Do you know how weird it is when it came out? And they ended up passing some kind of bill or law to get rid of them. But when it first became legal, there'd be like a little A-frame on the sidewalk that's like, come in, get your blueberry weed. For a girl that used to steal from a friend's parents out of a little film canister in secret, it's very weird to see an A-frame that's like, come on in for the blueberry ganja. Very bizarro.
Somebody told me today about friend of the show, Kara Walters, aka producer of the show, weed dog treats for dogs that don't do well with traveling.
Oh.
You can give your dogs Benadryl, but some don't, just like some people, they don't get tired from Benadryl. But like in states where it's legal, people are making like homemade dog. Ain't nobody got time for that, in my opinion. But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that sounds mildly scary.
I mean, start small.
Yeah.
As one does. This may have gone down a path we don't want to go down. But you'll be in Denver.
Yes.
I will still be in Charlotte.
Yes.
It'll still be February. Did we talk about why February is a great month?
You told me it does not get the acclaim it should.
It's my birthday month. So that's why it's great.
Birthday.
And
which one?
The 24th.
Which one?
Which one? Which one
Which
day?
one of those
or
days?
Which one year? Which one of those short old days is it?
One of them 24-hour periods or years.
If this is the first episode that someone is listening to, please
we have lost them.
Give us another chance. Usually we have it together. No, we don't.
Listen to episode 10 way better.
We did all right.
Did all right. Anytime I get to spend with you, I'm happy.
There you go. And not packing. So that worked out nice for you.
I am not. I'm not packing.
You should.
I don't want to.
I'm going to go make some zoodles.
Zoodles.
You go do whatever you're going to do today. And everyone else, stay witty.